we're finding that our apartments and also possibly more our villa lodge type of product, which has got more space and full kitchens and self-catering, is actually something that people are finding quite interesting during COVID and actually spending or looking to book on accommodation more and more. So the Michelangelo Towers, it reaches 33 stories, and at the pinnacle of the building, you can see the Cupola Suite, which is a 600 square meter suite, which is circular in nature, so the views are incredible across Johannesburg. You can see across to the Magaliesberg mountain range. You can see the Voortrekker Monument on a clear day. So again, I think if you've got families coming into Sandton to again maybe do the shopping and maybe visit family or something on those lines, the apartment feel where you can book a 1, 2 or a 3 bedroom apartment would also very much appeal to you. Obviously, in terms of facilities, you've got an incredible restaurant on site called Park Ferme. There obviously are 2 pools, an outdoor pool and an indoor pool, and there's a great gym on site as well. Accessibility, very much the same as we've discussed for Da Vinci and for Michelangelo. The Raphael, which is across from the Michelangelo Hotel, is a slightly smaller development. It's only 60 apartments. And it's actually got balconies looking over onto Nelson Mandela Square, which is great because you can see the statue. You can actually get a feel of the vibe in the evenings especially. And all of the apartments in this building are actually built around atriums. And these atriums are 3 stories of incredible South African artwork, which kind of spans 3 floors. So some of your rooms in your apartments actually look onto these artworks and into these atriums. And very much again, the facilities, the accessibility is very similar to the other properties. Obviously, with all of these multi-use, you've got full kitchens, including laundry facilities on site. And there you can kind of get an idea of the art and the atriums as well. There's a gym, there's a pool, all of the things that you would expect in a 5-star kind of environment. And now we get to our new kid on the block. And it's not really a kid because at the end of the day, it now is 56 stories high. The Leonardo, and I'm going to spend just 2 additional minutes when it comes to the Leonardo, was built in South Africa by Legacy during probably the most difficult times where economically the country was in dire straits. There wasn't a lot of hope and a lot of faith in where the country was going. And our chairman and CEO said, no, we are building this project and we're going to build it because it needs to become a beacon of hope for South Africa and for Africa. And it was never kind of supposed to be the tallest building, a residential building on the African continent, but it landed up being that. It's an incredible building, and I'm hoping that many of you get the opportunity to come into Joburg if you don't live here and actually come and view it, because it's not about the bricks and mortar. It's not about what you see. It's actually so much about the reasons and why it was built. It's a total art gallery. There are over 600 original art pieces in the building. And the whole building was actually constructed around all of this artwork. What you're also looking at, if you can kind of see the segments in the building, is that you've got the entertainment area happening on the 7th floor. Then you've got an area where there are offices, 2 levels of apartments, and then right at the top, it's an area that we haven't completed yet, but we've got basically 10 floors of a hotel, which we will probably complete in the next 2 to 3 years. And right at the top is actually going to become a tourist attraction. It's Alto 234. It's an outdoor viewing deck and kind of bar area. People are going to be able to book up there and actually go up and have a look at the views of Johannesburg, which is spectacular. I mean, Joburg is the biggest urban forest in the world. We've got more trees than anywhere else in an urban environment. You've got art tours that happen through the building showing off these 600 pieces that I'm talking about. And with all of this, you kind of also get an incredible lifestyle. And the lifestyle that I'm kind of talking about is the fact that you've got these 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments that, again, you can stay in for a night or you can live in for a year. As I've kind of indicated, you've got all this artwork across the building. That second little block that you see there is actually an artist called Imbugeni Buthelezi, and he builds from recycled plastic. That artwork it's massive. It takes up a whole wall, and you can actually see the Schweppes and the Fanta plastic, kind of recycled plastic built in there. And that epitomizes the history of Africa. So if you can see in the top kind of left-hand corner are Winnie and Nelson Mandela coming out from when Nelson Mandela was released from prison. You've got the African continent. You've got this whole history in one artwork. And it's an incredible building when it comes to that. Aurum Restaurant, also filled with artwork. But again, an incredible restaurant. It's kind of European international cuisine, but it's all about using fresh ingredients. There's a creche, believe it or not, in the building. We've got an incredible bar and deli, which you can also purchase kind of meals, which then you can take up and cook and sort out in your apartment or in your room. Or obviously there's room service as well. And then additionally, we've got Octobar, which also being on the 7th floor, incredible views of Joburg, lots of craft gins, lots of craft beers. So there's an incredible lifestyle that's just going on in the building. And the Leonardo, it's become, you know, you kind of drive in and around Joburg and you can't miss it. It's become the beacon. It's become where kind of people can hone in and know where they are. We then move into our last property in Gauteng, and it's the Centurion. I think with the Centurion, if you're looking for something that maybe is a stopover into, you know, for one night, then going on into the Pilanesberg or going up to Kruger, that's where Centurion kind of fits in. It's a nice one-night stopover. Very much so, again, we build things quite nicely because it's located next to a shopping center. So you can also, now my screen is frozen. Oh, there it is. Sorry, one more. Okay, I'm not going to try. Oh, no, it has gone back. There we go. No, sorry, everyone. Right, so Centurion adjoining a shopping center, and again, it's maybe a little bit more of a business property, but it is a nice stopover if you're going to go out into maybe one of the bush areas close to Johannesburg and Gauteng. We then move into the Cape, and I'll kind of slow down a little bit more because I think this is probably where the bigger interest lies in the Cape and in our Bush Lodge product. And again, I think with us looking so much at our domestic tourism at the moment, with us looking at the fact that we can't go out the borders too much, you now have got Cape Town. It's a jewel in South Africa's kind of cap. And we've always kind of put Cape Town on the map with the international tourists, but we've got to now start looking at the fact that we've got an incredible country, and a lot of South Africa should actually come and explore Cape Town as a tourist. It is one of the 7 wonders of the world. I don't have to tell you all of this. You're all in the industry. You all know how amazing it is. And I think it's time we put Cape Town on the map as an industry for our tourists in South Africa. Our 2 hotels, the Commodore and Portswood, again, very typical of Legacy. We like to build hotels next to each other. So we've got the Portswood and the Commodore hotels. They are located next to each other. They do have probably one of the best locations because they're on the V&A waterfront. So from there, you can actually leave and go and do majority of what everybody wants to see in Cape Town. You can go to the waterfront, you can do your harbour cruises, you can get your excursion to Robben Island. It's very easy to get to the cableway to go up Table Mountain. So it's just beautifully located. And again, surrounded by kind of amazing restaurants and things to do in Cape Town. The Commodore, besides the location, you've got facilities in the hotel. The spa and the gym are obviously key. And the restaurant is the Clipper restaurant, amazing seafood. So what I would recommend is maybe if you are going to eat in the hotel for one night, that the Clipper restaurant is kind of your seafood restaurant for the day. The Portswood, as I said, located kind of literally just next door. I think the beauty of this product is that it's got the original well where the prisoners used to actually collect water from. And if you look at the restaurant, the wall right at the back of the restaurant is also the original prison wall. So this particular property is very much steeped in history, and it kind of links very nicely with maybe doing a trip to Robben Island, understanding how the prisoners, because these were all the holding cells before prisoners were taken to Robben Island. And then the restaurant that operates now is the Quarter Kitchen, which is one of the only restaurants that you can actually get a very, very authentic Cape Malay cuisine. So I would also say spend one night in the hotel, have dinner in the Quarter Kitchen, and do the Cape Malay feast. It's all the wonderful South African, the boboties and the Cape Malay curries, and it's an incredible array of kind of platters for a starter, all these little pots that come to the table for main, or you can order individual meals. But it's an incredible experience again of something very South African. And I think that's, as I said, I think something we as an industry need to get behind and promote. Cape Town is actually available for tourists. It is available for our local guys, because I think everybody thinks it's a little bit untouchable at the moment, and it's really not. So our 2 hotels, perfect location for that, and gives you quite a nice South African experience as well. For those who want to add kind of a bush experience in the Cape area, we would then highly recommend Kazuko Lodge, which is in the Eastern Cape. It's in the greater kind of Addo area in a private reserve. And this guy on the front page is Sylvester. Sylvester, I'm sure you've all heard the story of this crazy lion who kind of escaped, and then everyone wanted to put him down and everything else. What happened is that Haratus, who looks after the estate, took Sylvester into Kazuko. He's rehabilitated him and kind of made sure that he's very comfortable in his environment. Sylvester has since found a mate. They now have a family of wonderful cubs running around running around Kazuko, and he's an incredible lion, and he's just, if you do nothing else, it's worth going to Kazuko just to be able to go and see Sylvester, who caused such chaos in the media about 2 years ago. But Kazuko, it's also a very different bush experience. It's not like the Kruger or the Pilanesberg. The actual bush looks very different. And for me, you're not going there almost to see the big five or anything like that. You're actually going to see the fauna and the flora. You're going to go and have a look at amazing skies. I mean, they do a cosmic safari where literally you sit out and you can look up into the stars. We've got telescopes, and you can kind of have a look at these skies that you would never see anywhere else in the country. Clear stars like you've never seen. So yeah, there are animals, and it is fun to see Sylvester and all of that, but it is an incredibly different destination when it comes to the bush. If you look at that restaurant bar Bush Boma picture, you can kind of get an idea of how incredible the skies are, because that is not a Photoshop picture. In that picture, you can also see a wheelchair. This particular lodge is very, very, very accessible. The owners actually have built it with that in mind, because a number of the board members are actually need assistance. So it's easier to get onto game vehicles. The showers, the rooms are all in general built so that they can allow for access of wheelchairs. It's a very, very much accessible lodge. And I think the other thing, besides the wellness center, incredible views and all of that, maybe to point out, it is very, very children friendly as well. Lots of activities on sites, and very competitive, because basically the kids under 12 are sharing with parents, and they are really only paying for meals. The other thing that we also do at Kazuko is the cheetah rehabilitation. It's not an encounter. It's not that you are engaging with the cheetahs, but they do run a full conservation and rehabilitation of cheetahs. And we've actually just released, I think, another 5 or 6 cheetahs to the reserves that have now been rehabilitated. So it's an incredible, you really feel that you're involved in conservation as well when you're actually staying at Kazuko. So if you want to do something in Cape Town or in the Cape area, it's great to maybe add Cape Town and then finish off with Kazuko up into the Eastern Cape and do a bush experience. And then the last one, which is really more of our bush collection, and I think majority of you will know when I say Kwamuratani and Bakubang. They've become quite synonymous with Pilanesberg, and I think a lot of people know them. So Bakubang Bush Lodge, the picture that you've got there is actually at our Boma site. That happens on a Wednesday and on a Saturday night. And if there are groups, if you ever book a group, we can obviously arrange that on other nights. Again, amazing because the Pilanesberg is malaria free. It's only 2 hours from Joburg. They've just opened a new road, so it's even quicker by road. And the Pilanesberg is also an amazing place because of its volcanic nature. And I think it's only one of the only 2 sites. The other one is in Iceland, believe it or not, that has actually come through these volcanic kind of craters in history. Bakubang is the people of the hippo, and the main reason for that is because kind of the whole lodge is built around in a shoe shape, if you want to call it, around pools. And hippos are known to kind of come and reside in those hippo pools in front of the lodge. An incredible unique thing that also Bakubang does is that we can do walks into the park, and those obviously need to be booked up front. Also incredibly children friendly. Again, there's a junior ranger program, sharing with parents. They're only paying for certain meals. We do take children on game drives, and we're quite careful, to put families together and not disturb, let's say, a couple who's kind of experiencing it for themselves. The pool's very, very popular as well, and an incredible spa to kind of also get a break that looks out into the bushveld. Very nice rooms there. You can kind of see the rooms as well that can accommodate families very, very nicely. So the doubles. Moving to Kwamuratani, and I think the difference with Kwamuratani and Bakubang is that really Kwamuratani has also got a hide. And it's this kind of 100-meter passage that leads into this hide. And again, at this hide, you just see the most incredible animals that kind of just pass by, because obviously there's water, and we've got a camera that actually is activated at the hide. So if you're sitting in your room, you can go to the hide channel and see if there's any animals down there and pop down to the hide. And the other thing with Kwamuratani is that its restaurant, just outside the restaurant, we've also got kind of little watering ponds. And I don't think that I've ever been there without seeing elephants coming past. But there's a constant flow of animals. I mean, warthog, buck, but there's constantly elephants that seem to just come there and put on their full display. And it's incredible because you literally are just sitting in the restaurant and there are these big, gigantic, gracious animals just coming past the lodge. So, and I think maybe the other thing is Kwamuratani's got a slightly more resort feel. But it's very much still in the bush, and you can see the Boma site also operating on a Wednesday, Saturday, unless there's a group that wants to kind of go and do that. Also a spa on site, and really similar to Bakubang in the rest of the facilities. Chikudu is our little gem in the middle of the park. There's only 10 rooms, and it's kind of built on this little koppie. There's 132 gradual stairs that lead up to the lodge. So bear that in mind. It's difficult if your people are not active, because we don't have another way to get them up and down the lodge. So you may need to be a little bit more careful with the older generation or people who can't handle it. It's not like this, steep steps and off they go. They are gradual, but you do have to go up and down the stairs to actually get onto the game vehicles and those things. But it is worth it because the views are incredible. you kind of just look out in the middle of the park, and the vista is just incredible. This is the kind of little fire pit that you find on the deck, and you can get an idea of how incredible the views are out from Chukudu. There are 4 luxury suites that have their own little plunge pools. And then obviously the other 6 suites have got access to the rock plunge pool. We do a boma in the middle of the bush, and you can kind of see that. That's weather dependent because obviously there is absolutely no covering. And again, it's just, this is a proper break, and it's so close to Joburg. Just those 2 hours, you park your car at Bakobang, you check in at Bakobang, and off we whisk you, and you just feel that you are in the middle of the most incredible bushveld, which you are. And I have to admit, the Pilanesberg sightings at the moment in Big 5 and in animals have been incredible. So Pilanesberg, a great destination, location, malaria-free, and 3 very interesting and slightly different products available to you. We then moved to kind of Mpumalanga and to the Sabi area of the Kruger. 2 products up there. The one is Kruger Park Lodge. So it's got Sabi River frontage as well. So you can, you know, and it's got its own kind of viewing deck. And again, there's incredible wildlife that kind of wander off there. This is the perfect place for families. It's got the golf course. It's got children's activities. You can kind of have a 1, a 2, a 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, or even a 5 bedroom home. There's a great restaurant on site. Lovely pools. So it's very much a wonderful destination. You can also go the self-catering route, and you can go the dinner, bed and breakfast kind of route. Very close to the park. So the closest gate is the Pambeni gate. So you just pop, you know, we can obviously arrange it, or you pop into your car, drive up to Pambeni gate, and you're in the park and experiencing the Kruger. And the other product, which is also new, and I'm not sure how many people know it, is Elephant Point. So Elephant Point is just a little bit, about half an hour up the road from Kruger Park Lodge. Also an incredible property. Now, what we've got here is, we're going to have 22. At the moment, we've completed 18, but we're calling them villas. Because really what they are individual lodges that are 2, 3, 4, or 5 bedroom. They again overlook the Sabi River and the whole Sabi area. It is incredible. It's called Elephant Point because, again, it's very unlikely that you're not going to see elephant actually traversing that whole area. But I must admit, the sightings that they've had from the actual villas, because you're looking into the park, have been incredible. Now, you can see from this next picture that it is on the luxury side. The owners of these individual villas that we then manage are very much people who are in an international portfolio, and they have an incredible love for the bush. And they've invested huge amounts of money to actually own a little piece of Africa. You've got 2 options. We can go a very, very inclusive scenario where we can have a private chef on site. He can be preparing breakfast and dinners. Each lodge or each villa has got its own little boma site, so he could do bomas every night for you if you wanted. He can do packed lunches, which you can then take into the park, and again, we can take you into the park with game vehicles. But I think for the South African market, we still are a market who likes the self-catering. And again, the beauty of this is that you can actually take these incredible villas on a self-catering basis. And there we can help you with shopping, or obviously you can bring your own into the lodge. We've got a boma, which also operates on a Wednesday and on a Saturday, and you can do breakfast there if you do want on a daily basis, or otherwise the group, kind of more group bomas on those 2 nights. It's very close to the airports as well, and obviously we can pick up from the airport as well. But I think this is more of a self-drive destination if you're looking at it locally. Each lodge, as I've said, is just incredible. Its own pool, its own private boma, incredible views, and there isn't a single thing that you can possibly kind of not find in these villas. So I think that's it. The next slide is a short video on our COVID protocols. And I guess then after that, we can open it to a Q&A, and anything I haven't covered on a COVID side, you can ask me if we're doing. We are, at all of our properties, we've connected with Tourism Business Council's Stay Safe program. We do not only the bare minimum, we probably do a lot more, not probably, we do. And that's kind of our South Africa product. So let's have a look at the video, and then we can chat a little bit after that. Okay.
Thanks, Hara.
Try to escape from there and stop sharing. Okay, there we are.
Perfect. Thanks, Hara. That was amazing. And sure, what a range of gorgeous properties. Certainly got it all. And I think what's really nice is the family-friendly. There's so many family-friendly, which is so South African, of course, because that's what we're selling at the moment. Can I just check? I know Pilanesberg has been really, really busy for us. How's your availability at the moment on all your lodges and going forward?
Okay, so Bakoban, Kwamoritani, Chukudu, Kruger Park Lodge, well, let me focus on Pilanesberg. Those three have had an incredible amount of business when we've been looking at weekends from when we were allowed to do the interprovincial travel. So in August, September, and now October. What we're finding now is that there is starting to be a little lull in November, because I think holiday or kids are writing exams. So we're finding that availability for November over weekends is now there. It's been very difficult to get weekends. Midweek has been easy, but weekends have been very busy. But November, there is availability now over weekends, and even going into the first week to a couple of weeks of December. Christmas, it gets a little bit busier, but there is availability.
Okay, no, that's excellent. And I might have missed it, just at Elephant Point, you mentioned the South Catering. How many villas do you have there?
So at Elephant Point, there are 22 villas. At the moment, we are selling 18 of them, and they vary between 2, 3, 4, and 5 bedroom. So if you've got family or friends and there are 10 of them, 10 people, a 5 bedroom villa would accommodate the 10 incredibly comfortably.
Okay, that's excellent. I think you covered almost everything, but does anybody have any questions they want to either put in the chat, or anybody want to ask Hara any questions?
Hara?
Yep.
I just want to check with you, if we have clients that are kosher conscious, is Elephant Point quite a good option for them? Will they be able to allow that there at that property?
Yes, no problem. So obviously, if they want us to take kosher, if they want us to arrange kosher catering, we can do it with pleasure. Alternatively, they are very welcome to bring in, obviously, all their own kosher meals, because obviously it's the self-catering route. So yes, we've actually got one owner who owns there, who is extremely kosher. He doesn't give his unit to us to look after, but he's an owner there, and he's there every weekend, and he's there continuously, and he's, as I said, very kosher. So it's yes, in that respect, very good option, because you've got a very good setup to deal with that kind of catering, and we can help.
Thank you.
Anybody else got anything? No, looks like you covered it, Hara.
Sure. And I was about to say, I actually did it in record time. I always worry that I talk too much.
No, it was excellent.
Okay, great.
Nobody got anything else. The Leonardo also looks stunning. Really, really nice. What a nice addition to the group. Very nice.
Yeah, we're very, very excited about Leonardo. And it's had lots of false starts, because we tried to open and then the builder was delayed. Then we tried to open and COVID happened. So we're like, okay, third time lucky. We're now open.
Oh boy. Okay, good. Okay. Well, thanks, Hara. That was great. Thanks everybody for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow for training. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.